Yo, 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 we ready to finish it up. First, I want to say, shout out to my boy Jamie Baxter. That man doesn't follow me 5 hours ago. I saw him on my TikTok. He was like, when you gonna get a YouTube? I was like, I already got one. What's he talking about? It's like he ain't even know. It's all good though. He gave me that sub, so we good to go. Um, let's get right to it. We got the rest of this video. I ain't doing no timer because it's only 18 minutes left.
Also released in 2012 was a huge new film project to commemorate the 10th anniversary of TV Asahi's Superhero Time, Superhero Taisen, which would focus mostly on Gokaiger, the Go Busters, Kamen Rider Decade, Foze, and Oz. This movie focuses on Captain Marvelous as he seeks to gain the ultimate power in the universe while commanding the Daizangyak fleet. At the same time, Kamen Rider Decade leads Dai Shocker on a campaign to destroy all Sentais. This movie featured a ton of fan service for fans of both Super Sentai and Kamen Rider, and Marvelous vs. Decade would be an absolute treat for fans. In 2012, we also got a hilarious new Sentai spin-off in Hikonin Sentai Akiba Ranger, a parody of the franchise. Being aimed at older fans of the series, Akiba Ranger was crude, creative, and unapologetically unique. This show would feature many elements and characters from the series, albeit with a very different tone than what fans were used to. This show is very meta in the way that it focuses on the team's delusions, and it makes it so you oftentimes don't know what's real and what's a delusion. This is the first Sentai where both the Yellow and Blue Rangers are female, it is the shortest Sentai, and it's the first one meant for mature audiences. This show also got a second season, a first for the franchise. 2013 marked the franchise's third Dino-themed season, with Juden Sentai Kyoryuger, the first season to be broadcast in 1080p Full HD. Kyoryuger wowed fans with its energetic presentation and large cast of likable characters. And speaking of the large cast, there are 11 protagonist rangers in this series, the most ever at the time. The title of the show is actually a reference to Zyuranger, because they basically have the same name but reversed. Juden Sentai Kyoryuger versus Kyoryu Sentai Zyuranger. This show would be adapted into Power Rangers Dino Charge and Supercharge. Although this series had disappointing viewership numbers, its toy sales were exceptional, and Super Sentai was alive and healthy in 2013. Also in 2013, we got the first ever 10 Years After movie of the franchise, Hurricaneger 10 Years After. This takes place 10 years after the show, and would catch us up with what the Rangers were up to in 2013. This was fun to see where they are now, including Ikko's new band, and Kota being a father now. This was an excellent celebration for fans of Hurricaneger. 2014 brought us Resha Sentai Tokyuger, an imaginative and heartfelt Sentai season themed around trains. Tokyuger offered fans a lighthearted and fun experience, complete with a charming cast that fans would largely respond well to. Despite this, the TV ratings were once again below Toei's expectations, and this series would be skipped over entirely by Power Rangers in the West. This season featured the Rangers' ability to swap colors with each other, and featured the first Orange Ranger since Battle Fever J. In 2015, Toei introduced what would prove to be one of the least popular seasons in the history of Sentai, with Shuriken Sentai Ninninger, another ninja-themed season. This show is adapted into Power Rangers Ninja Steel / Power Rangers Super Ninja Steel in the West, and Ninninger featured a lot of comedy and lighthearted antics with a focus on ninjas not hiding, but the cast and story unfortunately never connected with fans in the same way as other seasons. After this, we were treated to Deca Ranger 10 years after, in which 10 years after the show, after the Rangers have gone their separate paths, the Rangers have to investigate a corrupt head of SPD, as well as the evil Neo Deca Red and Neo Deca Yellow. This was a story that showcased the detective skills of the Rangers and put them in a scenario that's slightly different from the ones we had seen previously.
ジャスミンはエスパーである。その手を通して人の心が読み取れるのだ。
Deca Ranger was one of the most successful Super Sentai seasons of all time, and the quality that made it successful would continue with this film.
There's a whole lot of Deca.
2016 saw the release of an animal-themed Sentai with a bit of Minecraft thrown in for good measure. This was Dobutsu Sentai Zyuohger, a 40th anniversary season.
Sentai. I know. I got
This series followed a group of humans and Zhumins, who are animal-like creatures, as they take on the space outlaws Death Galleon. This season, although somewhat divisive, still saw an uptick in viewership, and the Zhumins, cubic theming, and the suit designs made this one of the most unique seasons of all time.
I ain't gonna lie, we seen the bird. They had a bird season. I already know what.
In 2017, Sentai fans would go on an epic space journey with the biggest and one of the most unique teams in history, Uchu Sentai Q Ranger.
The helmet's
Q Ranger featured the largest team size in history as they take on the space shogunate Dark Matter. This was one of the most unique seasons of Sentai ever, and it would have a larger international reach than other recent seasons, as Q Ranger would air in Indonesia for the first time since Gingaman. Elements of this season would be adapted into Power Rangers Cosmic Fury. This show is notable for the actress Mao, who previously played Luca Milfi / Gokai Yellow in Gokaiger, returning to the franchise to do the voice of Washi Pink. Q Ranger was set in a universe dominated by the villain faction. It features themes and equipment based on the constellations, and with 12 Rangers featured in the show, this was an incredibly unique and memorable season. 2018 brought us the first Sentai season to feature two opposing teams in the Cops and Robbers themed Kaito Sentai Lupin Ranger versus Keisatsu Sentai Pat Ranger. This season featured a team of thieves in Lupin Ranger and a team of cops in Pat Ranger as they take on each other. The concept of featuring two teams of Rangers was incredibly unique on its own, but this show even had a sixth Ranger referred to as X, who was part of both teams, a first for the franchise. Pat Ranger was the first Sentai team.
Alright, I think that's about enough. Thank y'all for watching. I'm gonna go finish watching this basketball game.